Mick Conlan here, 4 seconds out with Mick Conlan. Mick, good to see you. How's life treating you?
Good, mate. All good. All good. Happy to be here.
I'm sure you'd be happier with a fight date or fight plan. Is there any latest you can tell us as to your return to the ring?
March time. March time, I'll be back.
What sort of level opponent, what sort of fight are you looking at?
Something to get me further towards the world title. So there's obviously some big names as well around. Nothing's done yet, but we're in talks with a few things. So it won't be a step back from where I was. It'll be a step forward towards the world title or a big fight. So one of the two.
When it comes to those big fights and steps towards them, there are two names that have been linked with you for a while. Those are the rematch with Lee Wood and then Josh Warrington as well too. Are those names possible for that March date?
They're possible, but they don't get me closer to where I need to get to. They're both a division above me, so if the fights were going to happen, it had to be a kind of a catch weight, I suppose. And there's other names there who will get me towards where I want to go, and really good fights. So yeah.
I'm just remembering now, it was clicked me, obviously I was there for your last fight, and I remember asking Calla about the potential that your fight could have a crossover appeal with the Misfit scene, and you seemed pretty much open to that. Did that door conversation happen any further?
Nah, no further conversations have happened, but if there was a potential in it, there's a potential in it, but I don't really think there would be. I want to get back towards the world title. Does me fighting on a Misfits card help that?
No, but you'd be the headliner, the Misfits fights would be underneath you.
It doesn't really need to happen because I sell enough myself. Misfits would be good if someone who was a great name and didn't sell, that helped them sell more. But yeah, no, I'm unsure it happens. But if it happened, I'd be open to it.
And if the focus shifts towards this weekend and Junaid Bostan in a big fight, obviously focusing on getting the win over Bilal Fawaz, what does he need to do this time to cement a victory?
This time Junaid's in a much better mental space getting into this fight. The last fight probably shouldn't have been in the ring, but what happened, and now we're here, and it's great. It's built this fight massively, and it's a big name. So, I think that Junaid just needs to be himself and do what he does best. He'll beat him any way he wants to beat him. He's in great form. I've seen him prepare for this training camp and this fight, and he's been fantastic. So I'm excited for him.
When you say he needs to be himself, is it often fighters fall into traps of trying to appease or be something that they're not to get the victory or appease fans or whatever it is? Why was that the case the first time around?
Late outside of the ring probably wasn't what it should have been, and now he's kind of fixed an awful lot of that, and he's in a great space mentally, and now he can go in and just flow and do what he does, and I'm excited to see it.
What problems does Bilal Fawaz pose for Junaid, you feel?
Bilal's tough, and he's game, big heart, and will try to drag Junaid into a war. Now, whether or not we decide to do that is the question. But he's game. He's coming in with a lot of confidence. But Junaid Bostan's just an all-round better fighter in every department, and I think this team will see that.
Just moving on to some of the news. First of all, Abass Baroaou picked up the title, obviously, since Crawford stepped into the ring for CONOR. Must be proud knowing that Abass Baroaou has achieved his dream.
Yeah, 100%. Abass is a very close friend, and to see him go and do it in the style he done it in the opponent's backyard with the odds stacked against him was amazing. He was fantastic, and listen, I've been shouting about Abass for a long time, and to see him do it how he done it in Miami, putting on a performance like that was special.
What opportunity do you want to see from next?
Big fights only. There's some big names there who are around that division. It's a very stacked division, and there's a lot of potential fights that could happen. And as long as he's right and gets the preparation right, he goes and does the job.
Harlem Eubank, there was talk that he would be in against Regis Poirier. That's not materialised, but he's on a fight that gets him a step towards closer where he wants to get to. What does Harlem need to do to get to where he wants to be?
Back to basics. Keep doing what he's doing. Keep performing how he's been performing. The last fight with Jack, obviously ended how it ended, and he was just getting warmed into it. He was his plan kind of was the second half of the fight, and unfortunately with the cuts, it wasn't able to happen. So Harlem's always improving. He's young in the game. Although he's older than a lot of prospects, he's very young in the game. He doesn't have a lot of miles on the clock, and he's just got to keep doing himself.
Jack's since made the move to Bosienis. What do you think of that link-up?
I think it's a great link-up. I rate Bosie as a coach. I think he's a very, very good coach, and I think it's a good fit. It's a strange one at the same time because it's so late in his career and he's moving away from his family, and whether or not he'll be able to adjust to that. I've done it my whole career, but it's been a long kind of time I've been doing it, so I'm used to it. But for Jack, as long as he can maintain the kind of balance of family and training camp and be happy to be away, he'll do well.
Sticking on the theme of trainer switches, but going back to the Eubank link, Chris Eubank Jr. has since made the switch to bring Bomac into this corner for the second fight against CONOR BENN. Does that help him? Does it change anything for him? He got the victory the first time around, of course, but for CONOR BENN, who apparently is going to be boxing this time around, what does that do to the dynamic of Chris Eubank as a fighter?
I think it's a great link-up. He's fought under Bomac before and performed well, so it's an interesting one. Does it make any difference? I don't really know. It's, as I said, it's quite late in the day for him to be chopping and changing coaches, and if he can make a change at this stage, who knows? But I think Chris wins the game, if I'm going to be honest. It's going to be interesting with Bomac in the corner, but does it make a difference? Does it change how the fight goes? I'm not too sure.
Why do you think Chris wins again?
I just think he's better.
The talk from the CONOR BENN perspective is, I'm not making the argument that he does or doesn't, by the way, but the talk from BENN perspective is that he's going to box without emotion now, and boxing round Eubank is the way to beat Eubank and not engaging in a fight. Is that a right way of thinking, do you think?
It could just all be talk. Have we seen CONOR BENN box like that before? No. Conor's a very aggressive fighter who'll come to fight every single time. Can he change it up? I'm unsure. I don't really think so, but it'll be interesting to see.
You're a man in the know. I just wonder what you heard about Eubank Jr.'s gripes about the first fight and leaving the arena, about the ambulance and that time it took. What do you know? What have you heard? And was Eubank Jr. right to voice that in that moment?
If it did happen, he has every right to voice it, but I don't know. I'm not. That's something I don't know about, is what happened backstage or before the fight or after the fight. It's kind of none of my business, so I can't really comment on that one.
Oh, fair enough. I just want to get your take on the last thing, and that is that the winner apparently of this fight between Dave Allen and Arslanbek Makhmudov, if Dave Allen wins, he gets Deontay Wilder. If Makhmudov wins, he's in line to take on Anthony Joshua. Those two routes for either fighter. What do you think about them?
It's a scary one. Deontay Wilder, he's just that ferocious power, but Dave is riding the crystal wave at the minute, and he's going really well. So, and Wilder hasn't been going well, so it could be a good matchup for him. Joshua versus, don't ask me to pronounce his name, but Makhmudov. Yeah, it's a good fight for him. A good kind of. It's a tough fight because we don't know what Josh has left, but he definitely has enough to beat Makhmudov.
Would you be calling it a tough fight if this was 5 years ago, Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, because this guy's huge. He's huge. It's going to be a tough fight for Dave on Saturday night, and if he comes through it, he's done a fantastic job, and you have to fear him going in the Wilder fight then. But he's a very, very big man and a scary looking guy.
Does Dave win this weekend?
I think he can, yeah, but I'm unsure.
Mick, appreciate your time. Thanks for being us out. Good man.